4 people stood before the billionaire with proof that Amina was a fraud. She saved his son, but now they said she planned it all. As the witnesses testified, her new life was slipping away. Then the billionaire stood up, pulled out his phone, and said 5 words that made everyone go silent: "I have something to show you." But to understand what happened in that room, we need to go back to where it all started. The sun was burning hot that afternoon in Lagos. Amina sat on her low wooden stool, arranging her tomatoes one more time. She had been at the market since 5 o'clock in the morning. Now it was past 2 in the afternoon, and she had only made 1,000 naira. That was nothing. That could not even buy enough rice to feed her 3 children dinner. She wiped the sweat from her face with the edge of her wrapper. Her whole body was tired. Her back hurt from sitting. Her eyes stung from the sun. But she could not go home yet. She needed money. Her children needed to eat. Her phone made a sound. She picked it up and saw a message from her landlord, Mr. Bello. Her hands started shaking as she read it. "Amina, this is the last warning. You owe me 2 months' rent. If you don't pay by tomorrow morning, I will throw you and your children out of my house. I am tired of waiting." 2 months. 20,000 naira. She did not have it. She did not even have 5,000 naira. Where would she get 20,000 by tomorrow morning? Amina closed her eyes. Her heart was beating fast. Fear filled her chest like cold water. Where would they go if Mr. Bello threw them out? Where would her children sleep? She thought about her husband, Tunde. He died 4 years ago in a motorcycle accident. One moment he was alive, riding to work. The next moment, he was gone. Just like that. He left her with 3 children and nothing else. Only debt. His family took everything after he died. They said women had no right to inherit property. So Amina was left alone with Zain, who was 12. Aliyah, who was 9. And little Adam, who was only 6 years old. She started selling tomatoes to survive. Every morning, she woke up at 4 o'clock. She went to the big market to buy tomatoes from the farm trucks. Then she came here to sell them. Sometimes she made a little profit. Sometimes she made nothing at all. The other market women talked about her all the time. She could hear them now, sitting under the tree nearby. "That Amina, always struggling," one woman said. "Her husband left her with nothing. Absolutely nothing. I heard his family drove her away from the house," another woman added. "They took everything. Even the television. What kind of man dies and leaves his wife in such suffering?" a third woman said, laughing quietly. Amina heard everything, but she pretended not to. She kept her head down and arranged her tomatoes. The red ones in front. The ones that were starting to go soft in the back. She had to sell the soft ones today, or they would be completely spoiled by tomorrow. Most of the other traders had already packed up and gone home. The afternoon heat was too much. But Amina stayed. She could not afford to leave. What if a customer came? What if someone wanted to buy tomatoes? She could not miss even one sale. She looked at her phone again. Mr. Bello's message was still there. "Pay by tomorrow morning." Amina put her hands together and closed her eyes. She whispered a prayer, quiet and desperate. "God, please. Just one good sale. That is all I need. Just one customer with money. Please help me. My children need to eat. We need a place to sleep. Please." The market was almost empty now. Only a few traders remained. Everything was quiet except for the sound of cars on the main road far away. Amina opened her eyes and looked at her tomatoes. They sat there in the basket, bright red and perfect. But nobody wanted them. Nobody was coming. She felt like crying, but she could not. If she started crying, she might not stop. And what good would crying do? Tears would not pay her rent. Tears would not feed her children. So she sat there, waiting. Hoping. Praying for a miracle that seemed like it would never come. The next day came with the same unforgiving heat. The afternoon got hotter and hotter. Amina felt like she was sitting inside an oven. The air was thick and hard to breathe. Sweat ran down her back, soaking her blouse. She looked around the market. It was almost completely empty now. Everyone except Amina. She could not leave. Not yet. Not until she had tried everything to make some money. She was thinking about her children when she heard it. A scream. It was not a normal scream. It was the kind that told you something terrible was happening right now. Amina jumped to her feet. Her heart started beating like a drum. The scream came again, louder this time. It came from behind the market, from the direction of the lagoon. Help! Somebody help! A boy is drowning. Amina did not think. She just moved. Her legs carried her forward, running toward the sound. Her basket of tomatoes fell over behind her. The tomatoes rolled everywhere, into the dirt, getting crushed and ruined. 2 days of profit, completely destroyed. But she did not care. Someone needed help. When she reached the edge of the lagoon, her whole body went cold with fear. There, in the brown water, a small boy was fighting for his life. He was maybe 7 or 8 years old, wearing a school uniform. The white shirt was bright against the dark water. His small arms were hitting the water, trying to swim, trying to stay up. But the water was pulling him down. His head went under. Came back up. Went under again. Help! Amina screamed, looking around. Somebody help! A child is drowning. But there was nobody. The area was completely empty. Everyone had gone home because of the heat. There was no one to help. No one except her. The boy's hand reached up out of the water one more time. His fingers stretched toward the sky, like he was trying to grab onto something, anything. Then his hand disappeared beneath the surface. The water became still. Too still. Amina could not swim well. The water in the lagoon was deep and dirty. But the boy was down there, under that water, drowning. She kicked off her slippers and plunged into the lagoon. The water was warm and felt slimy against her feet. Her wrapper was soaking up water, getting heavy, pulling her down. It wrapped around her legs like ropes. But she kept going. The water was so dirty she could not see anything below the surface. It was brown and thick. Her lungs were already starting to hurt. She reached the spot where the boy went under and took a deep breath. Then she went under. Everything was dark. She could not see anything at all. Her hands swept through the water, searching, searching. Nothing. Her chest started burning. She needed air. She pushed toward the surface, broke through, and sucked in air. Then she went back down immediately. This time, her hand hit something. Fabric. She grabbed it tight and pulled. It was the boy's shirt. She had found him. With strength she did not know she had, Amina pulled the boy toward her. He was heavy, like a bag of cement. She kicked with everything she had left, dragging him up, fighting against the water. Amina kicked toward the shore, pulling him with her. Her legs burned. Her arms shook. But she kept moving until her feet finally touched mud. She dragged him onto the bank and laid him on his side. Water poured out of his mouth, brown and dirty. But he was not breathing. His chest was not moving. No, 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 Amina said, her voice shaking. She put her hands on his small chest and pressed down. Once. Twice. 3 times. Nothing happened. The boy's face was getting darker. His lips were almost purple now. She remembered something. A movie she had watched years ago. Mouth to mouth. She tilted his head back and pinched his nose shut. Then she put her mouth over his small mouth and breathed out. She pushed air from her lungs into his lungs. Nothing happened. She did it again. Still nothing. Please, she whispered. Please, God. Don't let him die. She breathed into him a 3rd time. Long and steady. Then the boy's body shifted, his chest moved. Water came shooting out of his mouth, brown and dirty, pouring onto the ground. He turned his head to the side and coughed. More water came out. His eyes opened. They were confused and scared and full of tears. But they were open. He was alive. Amina collapsed next to him, gasping for air. Her whole body felt like it was on fire. She was covered in mud and lagoon water and filth. Her clothes were destroyed. But none of that mattered. The boy was alive. He was breathing. She pulled him into her arms and held him as he coughed and cried. "You're safe now," she whispered. "You're safe. You're going to be okay." Walking back through the empty market felt strange. Everything looked different now. The scattered tomatoes from Amina's basket were still on the ground, crushed and ruined. Her stool was on its side. Her small bag with her phone and money was right where she left it, thank God. Jaden Idris held onto her arm as they walked. His legs were still weak. Every few steps, he stumbled, and Amina had to catch him. "I'm sorry," he kept saying. "I'm sorry." "You have nothing to be sorry for," Amina told him. "Nothing at all." When they reached the main road, Amina sat Jaden down on the concrete. She picked up her bag and found her phone inside. It was wet but still working. She looked at Jaden's uniform shirt. There, sewn inside the collar, was a label. It had the school name and a phone number. "Emergency contact," it said. Her hands were still shaking as she dialed the number. It rang 3 times before someone answered. "Valencia School, how may I help you?" A woman's voice, professional and calm. "Please, there was an accident, a boy from your school. Jaden. He fell in the lagoon. He's okay now, but—" "Jaden Idris." The woman's voice changed immediately. It became sharp and worried. "Where are you? Where is he? Is he hurt?" "We're at Tiju Market, near the lagoon side. He's okay. He's breathing. But he needs to go home." "Stay exactly where you are," the woman interrupted. "Someone is coming right now. Don't move. Keep him there." The line went dead. Amina put her phone down and looked at Jaden. He was staring at the ground, still shaking. She sat next to him and put her arm around his shoulders. "Someone is coming," she said. "They'll take you home. Your father will be so happy to see you." "No," Jaden said quietly. "He'll be angry. I lost my bag. I went near the water when I'm not supposed to. He'll be so angry." "He won't be angry," Amina said, but she was not sure if that was true. Rich people could be strange. They sometimes cared more about things than about people. They waited there on the roadside. Cars passed by. People stared at them. A woman and a boy, both soaked and covered in mud, sitting on the concrete like beggars. 20 minutes later, a big black SUV came racing down the road. It stopped hard right in front of them, tires making a loud noise. A man jumped out, wearing a driver's uniform, and his face filled with fear. "Jaden!" he shouted, running toward them. "Jaden, oh God, are you okay?" He dropped to his knees in front of the boy, checking him all over. Touching his face, his arms, looking for injuries. "I'm okay, Uncle James," Jaden said quietly. "This woman saved me. I fell in the water and she pulled me out." The driver turned to look at Amina. His eyes were full of tears. "Madam, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh God, thank you." He stood up and grabbed Amina's hands. "His father will want to thank you. He'll want to see you. Please, madam, your name. Your phone number. Where do you live?" Amina pulled her hands back. Fear filled her chest again. "No," she said. "No need. I was just there. Anyone would have done the same thing." "But madam." "No," Amina said again, more firmly this time. She was thinking fast now. Rich people were dangerous. They could be nice one day and then turn against you the next day. What if they decided to blame her? Or ask why a poor market woman was near their rich son in the first place? She had heard stories. Stories about poor people getting blamed for things that were not their fault. Stories about rich people using their money and power to destroy anyone they wanted. "Just make sure he gets home safe," Amina said, backing away. "That's all. Just take him home." She turned and started walking away quickly. "Wait," the driver called after her. "At least tell me your name." But Amina kept walking. She did not look back. Behind her, the driver helped Jaden into the car, the engine started, and they drove off. Only then did Amina stop walking. She stood there in the middle of the empty market and looked around. Her tomatoes were completely ruined. Crushed into the dirt. 2 days of work. 2 days of waking up at 4 in the morning and standing in the sun. All destroyed. Her dress was torn and soaked with lagoon water and mud. She would have to throw them away. And she did not have money to buy new clothes. She smelled terrible. Like sewage and dead fish and mud. She would have to walk all the way home smelling like this. But the boy was alive. Jaden was safe. That was what mattered. Amina gathered what little she could salvage from her scattered goods. Her empty basket. Her stool. That was all. Then she began the long walk home. Every step hurt. Her body was so tired. Her muscles ached and her lungs still burned from the lagoon water she had swallowed. All she could think about was Mr. Bello. The rent. Tomorrow morning. 20 hoos and naira that she did not have. She had saved a life today. But she still could not save her own family from being thrown into the street. When Amina finally reached home, the sun had already set. The small room she shared with her 3 children. She could hear voices from the other rooms in the compound. Her neighbors were cooking dinner. The smell of frying fish and onions filled the air. Her stomach hurt from hunger, but she had no food to cook. No money to buy anything. She pushed open the door and found her children sitting together on the old mattress. They looked up when she walked in, and their eyes went wide. "Mama." Aliyah jumped up. "What happened to you? Why are you so dirty?" Zan stood up too, his face full of worry. "Mama, you smell bad. Are you okay?" Little Adam started crying immediately. "Mama is hurt. Mama is hurt." "I'm fine," Amina said, but her voice was weak. "I'm not hurt, something happened at the market. I fell in some dirty water. That's all." She wanted to tell them the truth. But what good would it do? It would not feed them. It would not pay the rent. "Go back to sleep," she said. "I need to wash these clothes." But there was no water in the bucket. She had forgotten to fetch water that morning. She was too tired to go to the well now. So she just took off the dirty clothes and left them in the corner. She put on an old dress and sat down on the mattress with her children. They were all hungry. She could see it in their faces. They only ate small rice on the morning. "Mama, is there food?" Adam asked in his small voice. Amina felt her heart break into pieces. "Not tonight, my love. But tomorrow. Tomorrow we'll eat. I promise." The children drank water and lay down quietly. They were used to going to bed hungry. They had done it many times before. That was the worst part. Children should never get used to hunger. But hers had no choice. Just as they were starting to fall asleep, someone began hitting the door. Hard. Loud. Angry hits that shook the whole frame. "Amina." Mr. Bello's voice came through the door. "Amina, I know you're in there. Open this door." The children sat up, scared. Adam started crying again. Amina stood up slowly. Her legs were still tired and weak. She opened the door just a little bit. Mr. Bello pushed it open all the way. He was a short, fat man with mean eyes. Behind him stood 2 other men. Big men with hard faces. His brothers, probably. Or maybe people he hired to scare her. "Where is my money?" he said. His voice was loud enough for the whole compound to hear. 2 months, Amina. 2 months you have not paid. Do you think I'm running a charity here? "Please, Mr. Bello," Amina said quietly. "Just give me a few more days. I'll get the money. I promise." "A few more days." He laughed. "You said that last week. And the week before. I'm tired of your promises." The neighbors were coming out of their rooms now, watching. Some of them looked sorry for Amina. Others looked happy to see her in trouble. That was how people were. They enjoyed watching others suffer. "Tomorrow morning," Mr. Bello said, pointing his fat finger at her face. "Tomorrow morning, first thing. You bring me 20,000 naira, or you pack your things and get out. You and these children of yours. I don't care where you go. Sleep on the street for all I care." "Please," Amina said. Tears were running down her face now. "Please, I have nowhere to go. My children. Should have thought about that before you decided not to pay your rent." Mr. Bello shouted. "Tomorrow morning, Amina. That's final." He turned and walked away, his brothers following him. The neighbors slowly went back into their rooms. Amina closed the door and slid down to the floor. Her children came and sat around her. They were all crying now. Even Zayn, who always tried to be strong because he was the oldest. "Where will we go, Mama?" Aliyah asked. Amina had no answer. She pulled all three children close and held them tight. "I don't know," she whispered. "I don't know." They stayed like that for a long time, sitting on the floor in the dark, holding each other, crying together. Finally, the children fell asleep. One by one, they stopped crying and closed their eyes. Their breathing became slow and steady. But Amina could not sleep. She sat there in the darkness, her mind full of worry. Tomorrow morning would come. Mr. Bello would come. And she would have nothing to give him. Tomorrow, they would be homeless and her children would have to sleep on the street. She had saved a life today. But she could not save her own. Morning came too fast. Amina had not slept at all. She had spent the whole night sitting in the dark, thinking, worrying, praying. But no answers came. When the sun rose, she got up and started packing. There was not much to pack. A few clothes. Some old pots. The children's school books, even though they had not been to school in weeks because she could not pay the fees. She put everything into 2 old bags and 1 torn box. That was it. That was all they owned in the world. The children woke up and watched her pack. They did not ask questions. They already knew what was happening. "Mama, can we take my ball?" Adam asked, holding up a small, half-flat football. "Yes, baby," Amina said. "Take your ball." She heard vehicles outside. Big vehicles. The sound of expensive engines. Her heart started beating fast. Was it Mr. Bello? Had he brought police to throw them out? Then she heard her neighbors. They were making noise. Excited noise. People were running to their windows. Running outside to see what was happening. "Ah! Look at these cars," someone shouted. "Is it the governor? Who is coming to this compound?" Amina went to the window and looked out. Her breath caught in her throat. 3 big SUVs were parked outside. Black and shining like they had just come from the car wash. The kind of cars she only saw on TV or driving past on the highway. Men in black suits got out first. Security guards. They stood near the cars, looking around like they were protecting someone important. Then a man stepped out of the middle car. He was tall and wearing a beautiful agbada. The kind of agbada that cost more money than Amina made in her whole life. His face was hard. Cold. Like stone. His eyes were sharp and looked at everything like he was judging it. Amina felt fear fill her body. Mr. Bello came running out of his own room. When he saw the expensive cars and the man in the agbada, his whole face changed. The mean look disappeared. Suddenly he was smiling and bowing like a servant. "Welcome, sir. Welcome." Mr. Bello was almost dancing as he rushed forward. "How can I help you, sir? Are you looking for someone? Please, come inside. Let me get you a chair." The man in the agbada did not even look at him. He walked past Mr. Bello like he was not there. Like he was just a piece of trash on the ground. His eyes moved across the compound, looking at each window. Then his eyes stopped. They locked on Amina's window and her face. But Chief Henry Idris already knew exactly where she lived. After James the driver dropped Jaden at the hospital that evening, Chief had sent him back. "Find that woman," he had told him. "Don't let her see you. Just find out where she lives." James had parked far away and followed Amina through the streets. Watched her walk slowly, tired and defeated, to this very compound. He had reported back to Chief with the address. Now Chief was here. Standing in front of the woman who saved his son's life. "You," he said. His voice was deep and hard. "You're the woman." Amina's heart felt like it stopped beating. Her hands started shaking. This was it. This was the trouble she had been afraid of. Chief Henry Idris had come. And he looked angry. She thought about running. About grabbing her children and escaping through the back. But where would they go? And the security guards would catch them anyway. So she walked outside slowly. Her legs felt weak. Her children followed her, holding onto her dress. All the neighbors were watching now. Everyone in the compound had come out. This was the most exciting thing that had happened here in years. The man in the Agbada walked toward Amina. "I'm sorry," Amina heard herself saying. The words came out on their own. "I did my best. I didn't mean, I tried to." "You saved my son's life," the man said. Amina stopped talking. She stared at him, confused. The man's cold face started to change. His eyes became wet, shiny with tears. His hard mouth started to shake. "My only child," he said, and now his voice was breaking. "My Jaden Idris. You jumped into that water when you can barely swim yourself. The doctor said 5 more minutes and he would have been gone. 5 minutes. My son would have been dead." He took a step closer. Amina saw that his hands were shaking. This powerful man, this rich man who looked so strong and scary, was shaking like a leaf. "I am Chief Henry Idris," he said. "I own hotels in Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. I own companies. I have more money than I can ever spend." He paused. A tear ran down his face. "But yesterday, I almost lost the only thing that truly matters to me. The only thing I would give all of it up for. My son. My Jaden." And a poor market woman who had nothing gave everything to save him. The whole compound was silent now. Nobody was talking. Everyone was watching this powerful man cry in front of a poor woman. Chief Henry Idris reached into his agbada and pulled out an envelope. A big white envelope. "This is the least I can do," he said, holding it out to her. Amina took it with shaking hands. She opened it and looked inside. It was a bank check. Her eyes tried to read the numbers, but they were too big. Too many zeros. 5 million naira. 5 million naira. Her legs stopped working. She almost fell down, but one of the security guards caught her. "That's not all," Chief Henry Idris said. "Tell me your debts. All of them. I'll pay them today. Right now." Amina could not speak. Could not think. "You're going to manage my new hotel restaurant," he continued. "Full salary. 200,000 naira every month. Housing. Your children will go to Valencia Chul with Jaden. All fees paid. Books. Uniforms. Everything." He looked at her children, then back at her. "You gave me back my son's life," he said. "Let me give you back yours." Amina fell to her knees. She could not stand anymore. Her children fell with her, holding on to her. She was crying so hard she could not see, could not breathe. Her neighbors started clapping, then cheering. Some of them were crying too. Even Mr. Bello was crying. But his tears were different. They were tears of shame, of regret. Yesterday he was going to throw this woman and her children into the street. Today, she was richer than he would ever be. Chief Henry Idris helped Amina stand up. His cold, hard face was completely gone now. He looked kind, human, like a father. "Pack your things," he said gently. "You're coming with me today. You and your children. Your new life starts right now." Everything happened so fast. 1 minute Amina was being pushed out of her house, the next she was in the back of a luxury SUV with her children, driving through Lagos like someone important. The leather seats were soft, the air conditioning cold enough to make Adam whisper, "Mama, this place is like a fridge." Zan was quiet, staring out the window. Aliyah held Amina's hand tight. Amina held the 5 million naira check tight. It didn't feel real. She had never seen that much money in her life. She did not even know that much money existed for people like her. Chief Henry Idris sat in front. His voice was calm now. "You must have questions." "I don't understand," Amina said. "Why are you doing all this? I only helped a child." "Not everyone would," he replied. "My driver said you refused to give your name or number." "Why?" "I was afraid," she admitted. "Rich people sometimes blame the poor. I didn't want trouble." Chief Henry sighed deeply. What kind of world makes a woman afraid after saving a child? He turned fully toward her. "Let me tell you about my son, Jaden. His mother, my wife Grace, died giving birth to him 8 years ago. Is all I have left of her." His voice broke. Tears filled his eyes. "When the school called yesterday, when they said he almost drowned, I thought I had lost everything. I flew from Abuja immediately. All night, I imagined the worst." He wiped his face. "Then the driver told me what you did. How you jumped in. How you saved him. You didn't know who he was. You just helped." The car stopped at a red light. People outside were selling things. Phone cards. Plantain chips. Newspapers. Normal Lagos life. "I searched everywhere for you," Chief Henry continued. "When I found Mr. Bello trying to throw you out, I was furious. But I decided the best revenge is to lift you so high that people like him can never touch you again." He looked at her with steady eyes. "This is not charity. You gave me back my son. I can never repay that." Amina wiped her tears. "I didn't do it for a reward. I'm just glad Jaden is alive." "But I must do this," he said. "Grace always believed money should help people. After she died, I forgot that. Maybe you were sent to remind me." The car turned into a big gate. Security guards saluted as they passed. They drove up a long, smooth road lined with palm trees. Then Amina saw it. The hotel. It was huge. Beautiful. Like something from a movie. "Welcome," Chief Henry Idris said, "to your new home." The staff quarters behind the hotel were nicer than anything Amina had ever lived in. It wasn't just one room, it was a whole apartment. 3 bedrooms. A real kitchen. A working shower. Running water. Electricity. The children ran around shouting, "Mama! We each have our own bed." Amina stood in the living room and cried. Yesterday, they were almost homeless. Now they had this. A knock came. A kind-looking older woman in a neat uniform smiled warmly. "Good afternoon, madam. I'm Mrs. Comfort, the head housekeeper. Chief Henry asked me to help you settle in." "Please don't call me madam," Amina said. Mrs. Comfort laughed. "You're the new restaurant manager. You're madam now." Amina's heart skipped. Restaurant manager. She still feared she wasn't qualified. Sensing it, Mrs. Comfort said, "Don't worry. Chief hired trainers for you. And Chef Emeka will guide you." Over the next 2 weeks, everything changed. Amina woke up in a real bed. Her children ate proper meals, rice, chicken, plantain, fruit. They grew happier, fuller, brighter. Amina attended training daily: food safety, customer service, managing staff, keeping accounts. It was hard, but she pushed herself. Chief Henry checked on her often, sometimes bringing Jaden, who now called her Auntie Amina, and ran to hug her. "How are you settling in?" he'd ask. "It still feels like a dream," she'd admit. "This is real," he'd say. "You earned it." The best part was the children's school. On their first day at Valencia School, they walked in proudly with new uniforms and bags. Other parents stared, some curious, but Amina held her head high. Her children belonged here. Jaden spotted them and rushed over. "Come, let me show you around." He held their hands like family. But back at the market, the other women heard about what happened. The news spread like fire. "Did you hear? That Amina, the one who was always struggling? She's rich now." "Rich? How? What happened?" "She saved some rich man's son. Now he gave her a job and an apartment. I heard he gave her millions." "Millions? For what? For just pulling a boy from the water?" "I heard she planned the whole thing. She knew who the boy was. She probably pushed him in herself, then pretended to save him." Ah, these poor people. Always looking for ways to trick the rich. The lies spread fast. Mrs. Comfort, who heard it from a food supplier who knew the market women. "They're saying terrible things about you," Mrs. Comfort told her one day. "They're saying you planned it. That you're a fraud." Amina felt pain in her chest when she heard this. She had risked her life to save that boy. And now people were saying she did it for money? That she planned it? "Let them talk," Amina whispered, though it hurt deeply. What she didn't know was that someone else heard the gossip, someone dangerous. Someone who wanted the position she now had and who was willing to do anything to take it away from her. Chief Henry Idris's younger brother, Uncle Philip, had been waiting for the restaurant manager position. He had already told his friends he got the job. Already planned how he would use it to steal money from his brother's business. Then Amina appeared and took everything he wanted. And Uncle Philip was not a man who accepted defeat. He was ready to destroy Amina and drag her right back to where she came from. The real trouble was just beginning. Life at the hotel was good, almost too good. Amina worked hard every day, determined to prove that Chief Henry Idris hadn't made a mistake. The restaurant opened 3 weeks after she arrived, and it was beautiful. Clean white tables, warm lighting, and the smell of Chef Emeka's cooking drew people in before they even stepped inside. Amina worked hard. She arrived early every morning and left late every night. She wanted to prove that Chief Henry Idris had not made a mistake by giving her this chance. The customers loved her. She was kind to everyone. She remembered their names, asked about their families, made them feel welcome. Soon, people were coming to the hotel just to eat at her restaurant. "Business is up 30%, Chief Henry said one evening. "You're doing excellent work, Amina." For the first time in years, she felt real pride. Her children flourished too. Zayn excelled in mathematics, Aliyah joined the choir, and Adam played football every day with Jaden and other boys. Everything seemed perfect, until the whispers started. At first, Amina was too busy to notice, but Mrs. Comfort and Chef Emeka did. "Madam Amina," Chef Emeka said carefully, "I need to tell you something. There are people saying things about you." "What kind of things?" Amina asked. "Bad things. They're saying you knew who Jaden was before you saved him. That you planned the whole thing to get close to Chief." Amina felt cold. "What? That's not true. I didn't even know." "I know it's not true," Chef Emeka said quickly. "But the talk is spreading. Even some guests are asking questions." That night, Amina couldn't sleep. She had risked her life for Jaden, and now people were twisting it. The next morning, Mrs. Comfort added more bad news. "The market women are calling you a fraud. They're saying you followed Jaden for days." "That's impossible," Amina said, shaken. "I didn't even know the school was near that lagoon." "I believe you," Mrs. Comfort said. "But lies travel fast." Amina didn't know that someone was fueling the gossip from behind the scenes, someone with a reason to destroy her. Uncle Philip. Chief Henry's younger brother had expected to manage the new restaurant. He had already bragged to friends and quietly planned how he would use the position to steal money. Then Amina appeared, and everything he wanted slipped away. His bitterness grew into hatred. He went to Tiju Market and found the women already jealous of Amina's success. "She thinks she's better than us now," one said. "What if I told you she's a fraud?" Philip whispered. "What if I told you she planned everything?" He gave them money and a story to spread, how Amina watched Jaden for weeks, how she pushed him in herself, how she staged the rescue. The gossip spread fast through markets, churches, parties. Soon half of Lagos was whispering about the market woman who tricked a billionaire. Philip wasn't done. He contacted Mr. Bello, Amina's former landlord, who was still embarrassed about trying to throw her out the day her life changed. "Help me," Philip said, "and you'll be rewarded." Mr. Bello agreed instantly. "Tell people she acted strange," Philip instructed. "Say she pushed the boy into the lagoon and pretended to save him after noticing Jaden's school tag. Anything that makes her look guilty." Mr. Bello did exactly that, and the story grew bigger. Even some of Chief Henry's business partners began asking questions. "Chief, are you sure about this woman? We're hearing troubling things." Chief defended her firmly. "It's all lies. I know what she did." But doubt, once planted, is hard to remove. Uncle Philip knew that gossip alone would not be enough. He needed proof. Or at least something that looked like proof. He went back to the market one evening and walked to the lagoon, the same spot where Jaden almost died. He stood there for a long time, thinking, planning. Then he saw it. Near the water's edge, someone had thrown away old shoes, plastic bags, trash. He picked up a plastic bag and found a receipt inside. The date was 2 days before Jaden's accident. It was from a shop near the lagoon, a shop that sold bread and soft drinks. Uncle Philip smiled. This was perfect. He went to the shop and asked the owner, "Do you remember a woman buying bread here about 3 weeks ago? Tall woman. Dark skin. Market clothes." The shop owner shook his head. "Maybe. I don't know. Many people come here." Uncle Philip pulled out 5,000 naira. "Try to remember. It's important." The shop owner's eyes widened. "Ah, yes. Now I remember. There was a woman like that. She bought bread. She asked questions about the school nearby. Asked what time the children came out." Uncle Philip hadn't said anything about a school, but the shop owner was giving him exactly what he needed. "If someone asks you about this woman," Uncle Philip said, handing him the money, "you tell them exactly what you just told me." The man nodded quickly. "Yes, sir. I understand." Next, Uncle Philip went to find the market women who disliked Amina the most, Mama Ngozi, Mama Ifi, and Sister Bisi. All three were jealous that Amina had escaped poverty while they remained stuck in the same place. "I need you to be witnesses," Uncle Philip told them. "I'm going to arrange a meeting with my brother. I need you to tell him what you saw." "What did we see?" Mama Ngozi asked. "You saw Amina near the lagoon many times before the accident. Watching the school children. Acting strange." "But that's not true," Sister Bisi said honestly. Uncle Philip pulled out an envelope, 30,000 naira. 10,000 each. "Are you sure you never saw her there?" he asked, raising the envelope. The women exchanged looks. 10,000 naira was too much to resist. One by one, they nodded. "We saw her," Mama Ngozi said, taking her share. "We saw her many times." Uncle Philip smiled. "Good. Very good." Finally, he went to Mr. Bello. "I need you to write a statement," Uncle Philip said. "Say Amina was acting strange the week before the accident. Asking about the lagoon. The school. Rich people's children." "But she never asked me those things," Mr. Bello said. "I know," Philip replied smoothly. "But if you write it, I'll get you a job at the hotel. Security guard. 20,000 naira per month," he agreed. "Okay," he said. "I'll write it." Uncle Philip gathered everything. The shop owner's story. The market women's lies. Mr. Bello's false statement. The receipt he found near the lagoon. All lies. But they looked real, and that was enough. Then he went to Chief Henry Idris's office. "Brother," he said seriously, "we need to talk. It's about that woman. Amina. I've discovered something terrible." Chief looked up. "What is it?" "I didn't want to believe it," Philip said, acting hurt. "But I have proof. She planned everything. She knew who Jaden was. She was watching him. Waiting." "That's not possible," Chief said, standing. "The driver saw." "The driver saw what she wanted him to see," Philip cut in. "He placed the fake evidence on the desk. Read it yourself." Chief Henry picked up the papers and started reading. His face changed as he read. From disbelief to confusion to anger. "This can't be true," he said quietly. "I'm sorry, brother," Uncle Philip said. "But you need to confront her. You need to hear her side. Maybe there's an explanation. But these people are willing to testify. They're willing to swear it's true." Chief sat back down in his chair. He looked tired. Old. Like someone had just told him terrible news. "Call a meeting," he said finally. "Tomorrow. I want everyone there. Amina. These witnesses. The driver. Everyone. We'll get to the truth." Uncle Philip walked out smiling. Tomorrow, Amina would be exposed, she would lose everything. And tomorrow, he would finally get what he believed was his all along. The meeting room at the hotel was full of people. Amina sat in a chair near the front, her hands shaking in her lap. She did not understand what was happening. Why had Chief Henry called this emergency meeting? Why did he look so angry when he told her to be there? Chief Henry Idris sat at the head of the long table. His face was cold again. Hard. Like the first day she met him. Next to him sat Uncle Philip, looking serious and sad like someone who had just heard terrible news. Around the room were other people. Chef Emeka, Mrs. Comfort, James the driver, and 3 women Amina recognized from the market. Mama Ngozi, Mama Ifi, Sister Bisi. What were they doing here? Also there was Mr. Bello, her old landlord, the man who had tried to throw her and her children into the street. He would not look at her. He kept his eyes on the floor. "Thank you all for coming," Chief said. His voice was cold, professional, like he was talking to strangers. "We are here because serious accusations have been made. Accusations against Amina." Amina felt her heart stop. Accusations? What accusations? "My brother has brought forward evidence," Chief continued, "that suggests Amina may have known my son Jaden before the drowning incident. Evidence that suggests she may have planned the entire rescue." The room became completely silent. Amina could not breathe. This could not be happening. "That's not true," she said, her voice barely a whisper. I didn't." "Let's hear the evidence first," Chief said. He looked at Uncle Philip. "Brother, present what you found." Uncle Philip stood up. He looked around the room. "I didn't want to believe it either," he began. "But when I heard the rumors, I had to investigate. For the sake of my brother. For the sake of my nephew." He pulled out papers from a folder. "First, I have a statement from a shop owner near the lagoon. He says Amina came to his shop 2 days before the accident. She bought bread. And she asked questions about the school. About what time the children came out." Amina's head was spinning. "I never went to any shop. I was never near that lagoon until the day Jaden fell in." "Let him finish," Chief said sharply. Uncle Philip continued. "Second, I have statements from 3 market women who knew Amina. They all say the same thing. They saw her near the lagoon several times in the days before the accident and saw her watching the school children. They thought it was strange but said nothing." He pointed at Mama Ngozi, Mama Ifi, and Sister Bisi. "These women are willing to swear it's true." The 3 women nodded, but they would not look at Amina. "That's a lie." Amina stood up, tears running down her face. "They are lying. I was never there before that day. Why would they say this?" "Maybe because it's true," Uncle Philip said. "And finally, I have this receipt. Found near the lagoon. Dated 3 days before the accident. From the same shop. This proves you were in that area." He held up a dirty piece of paper. A receipt. Amina stared at it. "That's not mine. I've never seen that before." "Then how did it get there?" Uncle Philip asked. "How did the shop owner recognize your description? How did 3 different women all see you in the same place?" Chief Henry stood up. His face was like stone. "Amina, did you know who my son was before you saved him?" "No." Amina was crying hard now. "I swear to God, I didn't know. I just saw a boy drowning and I helped him." "Did you plan this rescue to get close to me? To get money from me?" "No. Never. How can you think that? I almost died in that water. I lost everything I had that day." "Or," Uncle Philip said quietly, "you risked a little to gain a lot. You destroyed some tomatoes and ruined some clothes. But you got 5 million naira. A job. An apartment. Your children in the best school. That's a pretty good trade, don't you think?" Amina fell back into her chair. She could not speak anymore. Could not defend herself. How do you fight against lies? How do you prove something didn't happen? Chef Emeka stood up. "Chief, I've worked with Amina for weeks now. She is honest. Hardworking. This doesn't sound like her at all." "People can fool you," Uncle Philip said. "The best liars are the ones you trust the most." Mrs. Comfort stood up too. "I don't believe this. Amina would never do something like this." "You don't know her," Uncle Philip shot back. "You've only known her a few weeks. These market women knew her for years." Amina looked at the 3 women. They still would not meet her eyes. Why were they doing this? What had Uncle Philip given them to make them lie like this? Then she understood. Money. He had paid them. That was the only explanation. "Chief," she said, her voice broken. "Please. I'm telling you the truth. I never saw Jaden before that day. I didn't plan anything. I just did what any mother would do. I saw a child in danger and I helped. That's all. I swear on my children's lives, that's all it was." Chief Henry looked at her for a long moment. She could not read his face. Could not tell what he was thinking. "I want to believe you," he said finally. "But there are 4 people here saying the same thing. 4 witnesses. And you're saying they're all lying?" "Yes," Amina whispered. "They're all lying." "Why would they lie? What reason would they have?" Amina had no answer. She could not say Uncle Philip paid them. She had no proof. It would just sound like she was making excuses. The room was silent. Everyone waited to see what Chief would do. Chief Henry Idris looked around the room, his voice steady again. "We will reconvene tomorrow to hear everyone properly and review anything that needs to be verified. For now, this meeting is dissolved." People stood quietly. Amina wiped her face and rose slowly. Staff drifted out in low whispers. The market women and Mr. Bello hurried away. Uncle Philip left with his head down. Amina stepped into the corridor with Zayn, Aliyah, and Adam close to her. Night settled over the hotel like a heavy cloth. No one said much. Tomorrow would decide everything. The next morning, the meeting room filled again. Faces were tense but calmer. Papers were stacked. The screen was ready. Chief Henry Idris took his seat at the head of the table and nodded once. He turned to James, the driver. "You were there when you picked up Jaden. What did you see?" James stood up. He looked uncomfortable. "Sir, when I got there, the woman and Jaden were already on the roadside. They were both wet, covered in mud. Jaden was shaking and scared. The woman was gentle with him. Kind. She calmed him down." "Did she ask for money?" Uncle Philip asked quickly. "Did she ask for anything?" "No," James said. "Actually, she refused to give me her name or number. She walked away before I could insist. If she had planned this, wouldn't she want to make sure you could find her?" Uncle Philip's face changed for just a second. Then he recovered. Maybe that was part of the plan. Make herself look humble. Make herself look like she wanted nothing. "That's ridiculous," Chef Emeka said. "You're twisting everything to fit your story." "I'm just looking at the facts," Uncle Philip said. Chief held up his hand for silence. "There's one more person we need to hear from." He walked to the door and opened it. "Jaden, come in please." Jaden walked into the room. He was wearing his school uniform. His eyes were big and scared when he saw all the people. "Jaden," Chief said gently, kneeling down to his son's level. "I need you to tell me the truth. It's very important. Can you do that?" "Yes, Papa," Jaden said quietly. "Do you remember the day you fell in the water?" Jaden nodded. "Yes." "Good. Now think carefully. Had you ever seen Auntie Amina before that day? Maybe at your school? Maybe near the lagoon? Maybe anywhere?" Jaden looked at Amina. Then he looked back at his father. "No, Papa. I never saw her before. I promise." "Are you sure?" "Think hard." "I'm sure. I had never seen her. That's why I was scared when she jumped in the water. I didn't know her. But she saved me anyway." Uncle Philip stepped forward. "Jaden, maybe you forgot. Maybe you saw her but don't remember." "I didn't forget," Jaden said, his voice getting louder. He was upset now. "I know what happened. I was playing with my ball near the lagoon. I wasn't supposed to be there. My ball fell in the water and I tried to get it. Then I fell in too." He started crying. "The water was pulling me down. I couldn't breathe. I thought I was going to die. Then she came. She jumped in even though the water was dirty and deep. She pulled me out. She saved my life." "But maybe she was already watching you," Uncle Philip pressed. "Maybe she—" "Nobody was there," Jaden shouted. "The whole area was empty. Everyone went home because it was too hot. If she hadn't been there, I would be dead. She's a hero, not a bad person. The room went completely silent. Chief stood up slowly. He walked to his desk and picked up his phone. I have something to show you all. He connected his phone to the big screen on the wall. A video started playing. It was security camera footage. From a shop across from the market. The angle showed the path to the lagoon. The date and time were stamped in the corner. Everyone watched as the video showed Jaden running past, chasing his ball. Then it showed him disappearing toward the water. A few seconds later, Amina appeared, running. Her basket of tomatoes fell behind her. She kicked off her slippers and jumped into the water without hesitating. I hired a private investigator, Chief said. He found this footage 3 days ago. I've been watching it over and over, trying to understand. And what I see is exactly what Amina said. A woman who heard a child screaming and ran to help without thinking. He turned to face Uncle Philip. What I also found was interesting. The investigator checked the shop near the lagoon. The owner admitted you paid him to lie. 5,000 naira to say he saw Amina there before. Uncle Philip's face went pale. Brother, I'm not finished, Chief said, his voice like ice. The investigator also spoke to your 3 witnesses here. Eventually, they confessed. You paid them 10,000 naira each to lie. After my investigator offered 100,000 naira each, 10 times what you gave, to tell the truth and put it in writing, they admitted they made it up. They said you told them exactly what to say. Mema Ngozi started crying. I'm sorry. We needed the money. He said it was just to scare her, not to hurt her. And you, Mr. Bello, Chief continued, turning slowly toward him, you wrote a false statement because my brother promised you a job. A job that does not exist. And he threatened you with a debt you don't even owe. Mr. Bello's head dropped to his chest, shame settling over him like a heavy blanket. Chief walked slowly toward his brother. You did all this. You created this entire lie. Because you wanted Amina's position. Because you were angry that I gave a job to someone who deserved it instead of to you. Brother, please, Uncle Philip started. Get out, Chief said quietly. You're fired from the family business. Effective immediately. I don't want to see your face again. You can't do this. I'm your brother. A brother doesn't lie and try to destroy an innocent woman. A brother doesn't betray family. Chief's voice was shaking with anger now. My wife Grace would be ashamed of you. I'm ashamed of you. Now get out before I call security. Uncle Philip looked around the room, but nobody would meet his eyes. Finally, he walked out, his head down. Chief turned to the 3 market women and Mr. Bello. You 4 are banned from all my properties. If I see any of you near my hotels or businesses, I'll call the police. Now leave. They ran out of the room like scared children. Finally, Chief turned to Amina. She was still sitting in the chair, crying quietly. He walked over and knelt down in front of her, just like he had with Jaden. I'm sorry, he said. His own eyes were wet with tears. I should have trusted you. I should have believed you from the start. Instead, I let doubt poison my mind. Can you forgive me? Amina could not speak. She just nodded. Chief stood up and addressed the whole room. From today, Amina is not just the restaurant manager. She is the director of operations for all my hotels. Her salary is doubled. And anyone who has a problem with that can leave now. Nobody moved. Instead, everyone started clapping. Chef Emeka, Mrs. Comfort, James, even the other staff members who had been watching from the doorway. Jaden ran to Amina and hugged her. Amina held him tight and cried. But this time, they were tears of relief. Of joy. The truth had won. Justice had been served. Later that evening, Amina stood by the lagoon with Jaden. They had brought flowers. Together, they threw them into the water. Why are we doing this? Jaden asked. To say thank you, Amina said. This water almost took your life. But it also brought us together. It changed both our families. Sometimes the scariest moments lead to the greatest blessings. Jaden held her hand. You're like my second mother now. Amina smiled. And you're like my fourth child. They stood together for a moment, watching the quiet water in front of them. For the first time in a long time, Amina felt peace in her heart. So much had changed, but one thing was certain: kindness had brought them together, and it would carry them forward. Hand in hand, they turned away from the lagoon and began the walk back to their new life. Dear viewers, what lessons did you take away from this dramatic tale? Would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed the story, please like and give us a thumbs up. Share it with friends and hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss out on our latest updates. Thanks for watching and stay blessed.